Good afternoon, guys. It is a rainy day here in Florida. You can see quite a bit of rain, honey. You're looking amazing. You actually are the light of the day with this rain.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you.
It's an honor. I love the rain.
I love the rain.
It's
I love
super
these
cozy.
days. Today is episode 15, guys. The power of letting go. I love that title. When you and I we were working on this, thinking about releasing the past and embracing the future, just got me so excited because I do think that we all live and go through that.
It's truly such an art. And I feel like this topic applies to every human being that is living, walking, and breathing.
That's
And I
right.
love when we do episodes like this that just have so much value and so many like little nuggets that make our everyday lives better. If you guys are just tuning in, it is so good to see you. My name is Tiffany, my amazing husband Luis, and we are your hosts behind the Caminante Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. You want to be sure you are joining this incredible community.
That's right.
And it is such an incredible community. Every day we wake up, there are more and more people, and it's just an honor.
And I gotta say, this is really, this is a movement. And what I like about it is the path that people are working along with us, right?
Right.
Doing the journey, doing it together, but most importantly, walking forward.
That's
Keep
right.
walking. I think this is what this is all about. So today is pretty much about holding on does sometimes more damage than the real freedom when you just let go. And I think this is going to resonate for quite a bit of you guys. Have you ever felt trapped by something that you're just holding on for too long, an old relationship, past regrets, or even outdated dreams? What do you think about that, sweetie?
Today we're uncovering the transformative, I love that word. It's like just
It's powerful.
life-changing power of letting go and how releasing the past hurts is really the key to unlocking your future.
So if you're ready for real freedom, join us in this podcast. Share it with people as we explore how to drop what's holding you back so you can truly move forward, because that's truly what it's about. Sometimes we just get stuck and we just cannot let go. And without letting go, you're just missing so much of the opportunities out there that are just waiting for you.
So good. So why letting go matters.
I think letting go is powerful, right? It's and I don't understand why sometimes we just resist it, right, Tiff? Probably, what do you think? Fear?
Could be. I also think maybe really just not knowing.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think that sometimes, and I've seen it in myself and I've seen it just in the lives of people that we don't even realize it. And you just can become hard. Your heart can become hard and you build walls and it holds you back.
It does hold you back.
So fear, I definitely think could be, but I also just think maybe not knowing.
What about uncertainty, right? That you don't know, because people like to be in the comfort zone, right? And they just hold to that comfort zone of what they know. And I think that could be a huge part of that, along with what you said, with fear, but just the uncertainty of not knowing what's next. I prefer just to hold to what I know, even though it may be hurting me, even though it may be damaging, right? But I prefer just to stay in the waters that I know of.
Letting go means facing uncertainties, but ironically, it's clinging to the past that really limits our growth and new seasons and becoming the best version of ourselves.
That's right. That's true. I think once you release that weight, right, you discover new possibilities. And I think most importantly, that deep, peaceful inner strength inside of you, right? Because now you start feeling, has it happened that once you let go, you just feel like you just put a ton of weight out of you?
Oh, totally.
And you feel in peace.
Right. And I think there is one key point in this that it changed it for me. And it helped letting go of just things that were not serving me or conducive to the peace that I was searching for. You know, letting go doesn't mean like in forgiveness, it doesn't mean okaying what was done. It doesn't mean necessarily going back to what was, but it's letting go of it and just moving forward. It's being, it's creating peace with what is and where you're at, and forgiving what was, so that you can move forward.
Right.
So what would you say is the hardest thing that you have had to let go of, and why was it so challenging?
You know, that's a great question, Tiff. I mean, I can think of a couple of situations. I think expectations, really, especially around career and identity. It was hard because letting go felt like admitting failure in one way, but it truly freed me. So I recall that for me it was so important to become financially independent. And as you know, I always had that entrepreneurship life in me, and where even though I was doing a career as a banker, I was also doing my thing on the side, right? And I did it for years. And I remember with my business partners, they were also in the same situation. I just don't know how many times we really try to just quit the corporate life and jump into this adventurous life that entrepreneurs live, because, you put a leap of faith. I mean, you can mitigate risk and all that, but in reality, you just put a leap of faith that things are going to work out. And we try so many different times that the last one that I tried with you always start having those kind of like playbacks, in where you try the first time and you fail and you have to come back, which it happened to me. And then you're trying to do it again, but, you're uncertain, and then something happened and you say, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't quit or leave my job, because if I did, look at where I would be," right? Business cycle may have changed, sales may have decreased. So that for me was one of the hardest, was to let go my old job, which was comfortable, had a good pay. I knew what I was doing. I was very good at it. But just letting that go and go with the idea of, what if I fail? What if I don't make it again? Because I went through it. And going through that process, it was quite fearful. But at the same time, when I did it and I started seeing how everything started playing in front of my eyes, wow, what a feeling, guys. I got to tell you, what an amazing feeling of just letting go and being able to do what I truly wanted to do. It's there's no words to describe, because it's more an emotional thing. When you look at what you're building happening in front of your eyes, and you let go of the past, and then you're seeing how these new things are coming up, it is powerful. It moves, it builds your confidence, and it just truly just makes somebody new out of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, because acknowledging why we cling or can't let go helps us understand how to finally let go. It's that awareness piece. And I love these two. I had to look them up because it's like these are so ingrained in me that I can't remember them. But forgiveness and letting go isn't for the person that you're, mad at or hurt by, or it's for you.
Right.
It's how you free yourself from the grip of what happened, whether it was a misunderstanding, whatever it is. Forgiveness doesn't excuse what happened, but it releases you from the burden of carrying it. That is huge. That can let you go and live in freedom.
Love it. And I think freedom is important. Okay. And I think in order to do that, we got to tackle practical strategies that, may help you, have helped us to kind of achieve that. So Tiff, what are some of the key steps that you use to let go effectively?
I think there's a few. So the first is learning to have compassion and seeing the situation not from how I feel, because our feelings are valid, but they're not always true.
That's true.
So having compassion and just understanding, like, where did that person come from? What did that person go through? So not that it's okay maybe, but it's just understanding. And then two, really just relying on, the truth and what I think God ultimately showed us the best way to do this. And relying on, that power that is greater than ourselves, because ego can get so in the way and think that your stuff doesn't stink, like it's all about you, and that's not.
So that's how you let go, huh? That's the power of letting go for you.
It is. That's good.
All right.
What about you?
Very interesting. From my end, I think you have to be proactive and intentional. And if I have to kind of figure it out or think about some of the strategies that I did, because when you're letting go, you are going through that uncertainty, that fear. And somehow you have to tackle what's triggering the fear, right? The insecurities and all that. And it's a mind game, right? So the way I do it is I just put in my mind during that phase everything that can influence me to overcome the fear. So I watch a lot of inspirational videos, I watch documentaries, I read, and I start kind of feeding myself with good stuff that can help me to kind of build an entire diagram around it. So when the fear comes, my positive thoughts can overcome. And I do it from phase to phase, depending what I may be going through. But when I get in uncertainty, even during these periods of, running multi-million-dollar companies, the fears always come back to you. But how I tackle it mentally, because it's a mental game, is kind of how I strategically do it. Feeding your mind with the right things. If you are having doubts or you're hearing from others negativity, because it's just a lot around us. I mean, there's so many people just telling you you're not enough, you cannot do it. And if you let that to be your main source of thoughts, words, images, thoughts, it will feed the monster in the room, which is fear. But if you do the opposite of it, you start building walls of success, bravery, strong, to be empowered, to feel confident. And every time that those negative thoughts come, it's like they bounce. They bounce. It's like you're building a shield, right, around you in order to keep moving forward, even though the odds may be against you. So how do you equip yourself? How do you actually put your entire tools available to you to confront what is ahead of you, which is the uncertainty, the unknown, the fear itself. So I do it a little bit different, and I think it works. It's effective. It kind of helps your mind to be ready. So when everything else is coming and you mentally, you got enough to kind of like fight it.
Yeah. This reminds me, the other day, I was talking with Liam, one of our youngest.
That's our second.
And I think I don't yell, but I think I did yell in that moment. and I was like, I'm sorry. Mommy didn't mean to yell. You're over here. You're over there. You're asking me for this. You're trying to do that. You're on your head. You're slamming doors. And I'm like, y'all stop. And then they both looked at me and I was like, I'm sorry. Mommy didn't mean to, raise my voice like that. Do you forgive me? Because I love just that whole dynamic, because I'm not perfect. I don't want to be I don't want to portray that I'm perfect. So Liam, my oldest, was like, yes, Mommy, of course, we forgive, we move on. Liam was like, no, I don't forgive you.
You just hit a wall.
And I was like, you don't forgive me. So do I forgive you? When when you just slapped me and do I forgive you when you scream at me or spit? Or he's 3, so he's got some of his 3-year-old behaviors.
We're putting some of those manners together.
But talking through that, it really helped him realize that forgiveness it does go both ways. I was like, oh, but I need to forgive you. But you can't forgive me. Oh, no, I do forgive you. So sometimes I feel like I see, as I analyze adult situations, I'm like, man, that person, sometimes even me, I'm acting like a 3-year-old in an adult body.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how we can be, certain situations can bring that out in us.
Well, or not only that, even a 3-year-old can teach you in that moment, right? Those aha moments for you to kind of like reflect. And I like that because it happens to me too. It's just amazing how the innocence of a child can really spark things inside of you, in where it puts you in check, and you are like, wow, I'm really, I can't, why am I like this? Why am I doing this? Or why am I reacting like this? They kind of put it on check.
Yeah.
Kind of like a mirror. It's super humbling. Very, very humbling.
By the way, I meant to tell you this. Last night it was storming, and he was like looking for my hand.
Right.
And he was like, Mommy, where's your hand? And I gave him my hand, and he's like, I want to hold your hand, Mommy, because I love you so much.
That is super cute, baby. He loves you so much. We all love you so much in this house.
To hear it, because he's in that
super
stage
powerful.
where he's just starting to talk more.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful.
It is cute, baby. It is cute. We all love you. That's what I wanna say.
Thank you. It's good to be loved.
So I know, Tiff, that you speak quite a bit with the audience, and they reach out to you via your personal social media, which you also have other things running, from your end. Some of the success stories, anything that they may have shared, powerful stories of letting go that can resonate, with what we're talking about.
Well, it's so good because a lot of the community talks about leaving behind the security of their own countries, which I've never done, so I can't imagine. But releasing that comfort, I've heard this pattern over and over, has led them to greater opportunities, stronger identity. And this is a really intentional process, like letting go, forgiving, all of these things that we're talking about to get us unstuck or make sure we don't get stuck.
Yes. Yes.
these are intentional. It's not, it doesn't just happen.
Yes, you're right. I would say this, I relate to that story, and it is powerful. I didn't want to use that because we keep using the same story, but it's just that experience, it's probably one of the most greatest experiences a human being can have. And living now in today's world where migration is just it's kind of becoming part of a norm. It's becoming a necessity for survival. It happened with animals, right? Dinosaurs looking to migrate, otherwise to avoid extinction. And in one way or the other, we're part of that tool, that cycle. We gotta continue moving.
That's right.
That's why getting in the comfort zone, one place, that just doesn't work. You gotta be able to be open. If life puts you in different situations, you have to move. You have to be able, and migrating puts that in check. And I think that story is powerful. Do you know the name? Because I want to call that person by name.
Oh my goodness, there's so many names.
And I would say this. I relate to you because that experience can make you or break you. I met a lot of people that have migrated and have tried to do it. They just don't learn, or they don't figure out how to let go. Let go their families, their cultures. They come here and they keep that going, and they try to keep it going and keep it alive because it makes them feel, home, even though they're not home. And that just comforts people. But in one way or the other, now, later, or eventually, you're going to have to let go and adopt and embrace new ways of living, new ways of thinking, new relationships. People that have mixed culture, they may be from Latin America and may have come here from Europe, and then they mix with American society. And now you got an entire new identity, even though they have similarities in cultures. So letting go, for me, in that experience, was the most powerful experience that I ever had, because I realized how much opportunities I was missing by not letting go. Actually, I even take it further. I was missing out so much because I was building walls around me, refusing what was right in front of me, refusing people from another culture, refusing a way of thinking, refusing a way of doing things. And I was really trying to keep everything that I brought from my home country. The best thing I was able to do was to actually say, enough is enough. I have to embrace, I have to just let go and be able to live freely of that past and look forward to new relationships, to new cultures, to a new language, a new way of thinking, a new way of living. And that was it. That was the moment for me in where I started experiencing not only joy, but freedom and truly success.
So good. So good. It reminds me of a time in my life when I had to let go of some things that just weren't good for me. And before I could do that, I had to realize that those things weren't good for me.
Right.
Because sometimes you can just be living a certain way. You can you can grow up a certain way. You can be in community. You can be genetically born a certain way. There's so many
factors
that go into it. But yeah, letting go of some unhealthy habits, toxic relationships, ways of thinking, the need for approval. That was big, especially in my business of social media, the need for approval, because everything is based on numbers and likes and comments. Right. And that was super, super tough. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that we can look at in our lives and just go, this is not serving me. This is, in fact, not the way it should be. And I don't want to live like this any longer. And I'm going to take the necessary steps to get out of the guilt thinking. You know, that's a big one, especially like with certain things that may happen. You know, things happen and life is brutal. Life is hard sometimes. And, you know, we can be our own worst enemy. We've talked about this before. But we gotta let that go. Get out of our own mind, negative thinking, guilting ourselves, the need for approval, clutter, maybe unhealthy ways of eating, thinking, right? There's so many things that we can become normal in our lives and
not realize that you're just caught up in unhealthy patterns.
Right. That could be, and maybe it's comfortable.
Yeah,
but it could be limiting you from a healthy life, a longer life, being with your family, really just living up to your potential or getting the full blessing that God wants to give us. And I want that blessing, y'all.
You do, huh? we all do. We all do. So with that said, guys, keep sharing your stories with us at Caminante Pod. We love to hear from you. If you don't feel comfortable putting it out there, send us a private message, letting us know what you're thinking. What do you think? What is it that you think would be beneficial for this community when it comes to discussions, topics, or even just thoughts? We love to hear from you.
I love it. The last one that I want to say, let go of the belief that you are not ready yet. You are ready. Step out, take the risk, do the unknown, press in, keep learning, keep growing, keep forgiving.
Forgiving is also part of letting go, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's a wrap up, guys. Today's deep dive into the power of letting go. Remember, real freedom is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone.
Like, subscribe, comment below, share this with a friend. It's so good to be walking and doing this life together.
Thank you, Caminantes. On to the next one. And please, don't ever forget, you got to keep walking and moving forward. Ciao, Caminantes.
Bye.